be part of the dudes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to a ramble. It's a special ramble today. It's a special ramble about Overwatch, which we can talk about now.
Hooray!
Hi, it's Turps. Turps is here instead of Duncan's sick. So Turps is replacing him as my new gay husband.
So I loved it. I loved our trip together to California, to Irvine. That was so brief.
What kind of stuff did we do on our trip?
I imagine it was a lot of lamenting about how Turps was doing back home. Well, obviously, even if I was there with you, but just wondering about that, and then just trying to use my name to get into cool places at Blizzard. Just be like, I'm not sure if you know, but we're kind of big friends of the Turps, and they're like, "No way! Come on, man! Let's talk about this secret project that we're not even talking about to anyone else."
Yeah. They had an underground studio that we had to get to by elevator.
Jay Wilson's like making a new game, for Team 7, and it involves, like Bejeweled. Blizzard's going to totally do a better version of Bejeweled.
Yeah, that's the next big thing, though, isn't it? I mean, mobile games and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, they've been around for years, but somebody needs to just swoop in and perfect them and make even
and
more
what I
money
love, though, is
them.
I've wasted all this time, and this is embargoed. This waste of time of my 2 minutes of rambling and making shit up is embargoed till now. So I don't want to side rail it too much, because obviously you were given a very fortunate opportunity to get hands on.
Absolutely.
With Jeff Kaplan and Chris Metzen.
That's right, and I did actually put my hands on both of them as well,
really?
without them noticing. Yeah,
really. Ooh.
You know, when you have a bit of
what I'd like
small
to do is
talk
I'd like
with
to
people
Overwatch that. I would like to just stand there overwatching you do that.
I just snuck in some extra handshakes and a couple of little awkward pats on the back.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly, and hold on to the handshake that little bit. Maybe put the second hand in on top of the handshake, so then it turns into just a 2-hand hold.
And cue the music and the deep stare and
exactly.
the pause in time and everything, for sure.
We think that's a great idea. It's not something that we really can talk about at the moment, but we really think that's a great thing. We would love to hold your hand.
That was the stock answer for pretty much everything. So at this event, it was all Overwatch. The whole thing. They had this nice breakout area set up with computers. So they had 2 banks of 6 versus 6 computers, so that you could play against computers. 6 other people. Yeah, and so the devs were just standing around the whole time.
Is that why the game's not finished?
Yeah, well, they were actually they had tablets and stuff, and they were coding while we were playing.
That's what I'd like to imagine.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that part where you can't jump right now, but just give me 2 seconds. You'll be able to jump in.
Hang on.
Yeah. But it was really cool. It was really relaxed. It was really chilled. The group that we went over with was very small. There was only about 40 people altogether, which is not bad, actually. I mean, the actual campus, the Blizzard campus, is a big place to work, but it's not a huge place to have a massive group of 250 people walking around and doing stuff, sort of thing. I mean, we went a couple of years ago, right? And we had a nice tour of the studio. Actually, we had a really comprehensive tour of the studio.
Yeah, it was amazing,
a couple of years ago.
John LaGrave hooked us up.
Yeah, it was amazing. We got to see everything. We got to see the World of Warcraft offices. We got to see Diablo offices, everything. Did we even see Hearthstone at the time? I think we might have, actually.
No. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't say. I don't want to get John in trouble. It was all legit, though. We got a proper tour.
It was deep underground stuff at the time.
It was amazing.
I don't know if you were
We were
allowed
shown
to.
things we're not allowed to even talk about on an embargoed podcast.
Well, I mean,
for example,
it was 2 years ago.
Jay Wilson, and he was at the time working with Team 12, and he was making Pac-Man.
He was tied up.
But it's
tied
Pac-Man,
up, and he had these weird things holding his eyelids open. And
well, it's I think that's what we've seen. The new VR revolution. Blizzard's got their own one where they just do a whole Clockwork Orange thing until you go mental and just see whatever they want you to see.
Oh my god.
Reality.
That's the world I want to live in.
So paint me the picture.
Soon,
so you're there. There's 40 dudes. You're the only 2 guys from the UK. Okay.
Allegedly,
give me some other names. Give me some other peoples.
They might have snuck in.
No, you were the only people from the UK.
We met a lot of cool people actually. We met one of the guys who is a moderator on the Overwatch subreddit. He was a very animated American chap, and he was really nice. He had told us a lot of really funny stories about like working in the games industry and stuff. And who else did we meet? We met, there was another guy there from the UK. He's been doing Overwatch videos. He's been doing very good Overwatch videos, actually. He's just started. He's got a really small channel.
How can you do Overwatch videos? There's no game to make a video of.
No, but I think this is all based off of stuff that was released post BlizzCon. So really? he's been taking stuff and
digesting it and creating content
with it. And it's sort of like more... Not really tutorial content, but it's like overview content, which is the only content you can really make about Overwatch at the moment.
Overwatch overview.
But very well done. He sort of got into it to try his hand at editing and stuff like that. And his videos have taken off, and he's sort of gaining subs, and people really like his stuff and everything. And he's like a sort of prominent member on the Overwatch subreddit now as well. So we got to hook up with him and chat with him and stuff. It was really nice. We met one of the guys from Pete's Mead. You know, the German YouTube channel? I don't know. Were you at Gamescom last year?
No, I wasn't.
One of the guys from Pete's Mead was like completely swamped by a million German teenagers. It was amazing. Yeah. So they're kind of like a group of guys who game, similar to the Yogscast or whatever. We got to hang out with him for a bit, and he was really nice, and we had a fun time. There's a whole bunch of like TF2 guys there that we didn't really get a chance to hang out with. There's a bunch of Blizzard guys there, like PR guys and everything. And it was cool. Jesse Cox was there.
Oh, Jesse, well, you don't finish with Jesse Cox. You start with a name I know.
Listen, I finished with Jesse Cox because he made it a point to call us a bunch of lamos every chance he got.
Really?
Every time he named...
He's threatened.
I know. His name in the game, every time we played against him, was something like Yogs is lame or I hate the Yogs. And
really?
He seems
the
to
thing
really
is, I still
not
love
like
him.
you
I still love him, and I don't care. I don't care what he tries to do. Okay.
No.
I know that we have a love that's unconventional. And
it's unconventional, but I think the thing is, and this is a good life tip, if you overwhelm people with love, it doesn't matter how mean they are to you because you'll win them over eventually.
Eventually.
Through love.
And having faith.
Having faith and love.
In the love.
You got to have faith.
Faith.
Faitha.
Right, so Overwatch. So
of
you
course,
sit down.
Jesse was there.
With loads of other people.
And Hafu was there as well.
Oh, Hafu. Fantastic.
Hafu. Yeah,
cool.
Hafu was sort of like browsing the Hearthstone gallery thing in the museum on campus and stuff. And
was she there?
Like,
did she like slip off to hear about the Hearthstone news, or was she just there for Overwatch?
She was just there for Overwatch, and I think like the whole time. I mean, Hafu's like on a pro team. She's on Cloud9. And it's really interesting actually being around.
I would be if I was
an actual pro gamer because you could see that she was just like weighing everything up, trying to like find the angle, trying to find like the competitive edge. Like she was really keen to get beta access so that she can start practicing and like reinvent herself as an Overwatch pro or whatever. I don't know if she's going to do that, but it was interesting.
Did she beat you when you played?
She was good. Yeah, Duncan and her were very good. I was on the same team as them, and I didn't come last every time. I came second last every time.
What classes did you play?
Second last.
I played
Reinhardt a couple of times, which is pretty
Reinhardt's
fun.
the big tanky guy with a shield, isn't he?
Yeah, with the shields.
Russian.
I didn't play him at BlizzCon at all, so I made it a point to play him this time because he's pretty cool.
I liked him. He's got a big rocket hammer and a charge that you can pin people against a wall, and you basically insta-kill them most times.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
He was
very,
good.
Very MOBA-like abilities, which is pretty cool.
It does. It feels like a first-person MOBA. It's very cool. It's very cool.
So it's always going to be 6 versus 6. This is what they've told us.
Oh, so now because they at BlizzCon they were like we love the idea of more game modes and more team sizes, and we've talked a lot about that, but we're not really able to talk about that at the moment.
It's a really cool idea and not something that we can talk a lot about right now, but it's a really cool idea. So no, they said that it's probably going to, they didn't because they never really like fully commit to anything, because of course
Never
they want to
never.
be able to change their minds or whatever. But it's looking like it's going to be 6v6. They're balancing everything around 6v6. But it works. It feels like there's a lot more people in the game when you're playing it, because it is pretty manic sometimes. You never really know what's happening if, when you first start playing it, like anything. The first time you play a game, it's super hectic. There's a lot going on. There's all these abilities going off all the time and stuff. And there's some really cool synergies between like the heroes.
That's the thing that kind of came out for me is obviously I love playing TF2. I like playing a heavy, and I'm just all about, I love this doctor. I want to have like a pocket healer just follow me around, because it makes me play better, because I'm, it's 2v1 often. And I really liked that Overwatch was built around that team synergy, and kind of coming off the back of playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm, and that being all about being this big hero brawler and basically, getting your mates to gang up on their mates. That was really fun to kind of experience that, but in that first person mode. At the same time, I didn't really play like Widowmaker or any of the sort of massively ranged classes. I was playing a lot of Bastion, who felt to me, it was like playing an engineer's turret in TF2.
Well, on the topic of Bastion, before I talk about Widowmaker, Bastion is this sort of like morphing robot guy, right?
He's so cool.
At BlizzCon...
Can you put up at this bit, Sips? I don't want to ask you to create production values in this, but could you put up Brian from Confused.com? I'm not sure if you can use the image of Brian from Confused.com. But it is literally Bastion's like Brian from Confused.com with a minigun.
Okay, I'm not going to do that, because literally in the background, there's just going to be like a 2-minute video of gameplay playing
Google
over and over and over again.
Brian from Confused.com.
But if you want to Google Brian from Confused.com and see what it's all about, go for it. So Bastion is like this robot that can morph around and change and stuff. And at BlizzCon, when we played him, his ultimate ability were these like spider mines. You remember that? And
they
put them down,
and then you drive around like a thing. It's cool.
So the mines, everybody sort of said off the back of BlizzCon that they were really overpowered. The dev team allegedly went into BlizzCon knowing that this wasn't going to be his ultimate ability. They talked about it as a team and said, we don't really like this, but we don't have anything ready to change it for BlizzCon. Like, they had an idea of what they wanted to do. So they actually showed us his new ultimate ability at this event, and he turns into a mini tank for a bit.
What?
For not long enough, actually. It's got to be said. It would be better
because when you put him down, he is literally, he's a turret. He
turns into a turret,
big minigun
with a shield
on the front of him with a shield.
Yeah,
and you have to use like Pharaoh to like take him out because she's got better range than him.
Yeah,
it's he was so OP at BlizzCon. I loved him for that fact.
Yeah,
we were coming out top in terms of kills on all. We did play far more than any of the other people at BlizzCon. We really abused the ability to just sit down and keep playing that game.
I would say we took full advantage of it.
Yes, full advantage, exactly.
Rightly so, too.
Rightly so. But now, so he turns into a tank. Does it, like a tank with like a cannon? Or...
Yeah, he's got a cannon and he can move around and stuff, but it doesn't last for very long. And maybe the damage is a little bit underwhelming, too, for an ultimate ability.
But how does it change, though? Because, like, does it mean that you're suddenly more mobile, and that's a really good thing? Is that what
So you turn into, like, you look like Wall-E, basically, with a big cannon on you. And you can go around and you can shoot dudes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
It's cool. It's really, really cool.
Because the thing is, they show him in all the kind of promotional materials with like a little bird. He's got like his own little Pepe on his finger.
That's right.
And I was hoping his ult would be something, where this very cute little canary just kind of comes down and just
turn into
messes
like some
people up.
satanic raven.
Or maybe, exactly. Or like really cute, flies over, everyone's like, oh, and then just explodes in a puff of feathers. That'd be amazing.
Well, you never know. I mean, they could change it. But so for now, he turns into a little tank, a little Wall-E tank, and goes around and murders everybody. And it's cool. It was really good. So the other big news as well, following that change, is that there's 2 new heroes added to the game that we didn't see at BlizzCon. You're going to love this.
Okay.
Because, you were there, obviously, in spirit, the spirit of Duncan Jones, who is currently sick. and unable to speak into a microphone as a result. But so
he's dead.
I'm really bad with names, though. That's the only thing. I can't remember either of their names.
Was it Cyborg Clint Eastwood? Was it from Dirty Harry?
It was Cyborg Clint Eastwood. Yeah,
amazing.
It wasn't Dirty Harry though. It was Clint Eastwood, circa spaghetti western. Period. Yeah. So he has the poncho and the hat and everything.
Yeah, and a cigar in the poster.
He's got a cigar,
and he's got a Banff belt buckle.
He's got a
badass mother effer.
Yeah, he's got a Banff buckle. Also, he's got this sort of Magnum pistol thing, which is like really crazy. It does a lot of damage. So he's he's sort of touted as like a mid-range sniper, but he's really good up close too, because his alternate sort of fire is this unload of the gun. So like 6 shots. Yeah, bang, 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 bang. Really good if you're like up close to somebody and you just want to kill them instantly.
How does he reload? Does he reload as cool as Reaper? Because Reaper just like chucks his guns away and pulls out 2 new ones.
No,
reload ever.
I don't know. I can't remember how he reloads, actually. I think it's just a standard reload. So he also has this... He's also got this like sort of barrel rolly dodge thing. So every hero basically has like a shift ability that you press shift to do. So his is like this barrel roll thing. You have your primary fire and then your alternate fire. And then you have your ultimate ability, which charges up the more you do stuff. So you get kills, you help, objectives and all that. Goes towards charging up. Sorry, I don't know if you caught that. I just burped.
No, that's fine. That's cool. That's fine.
It was like a silent
I'm drinking
sort
Pepsi
of like,
over here as well. So I'm just like, I turn away from the mic to burp. Like Tezonde on gas.
Yeah, when I get excited, I just start burping. I can't stop myself. So his ultimate ability is like this sort of showdown thing. It's amazing, okay? You go into like this sort of weird... You hear like the... And for you, time freezes a little bit. It doesn't completely freeze, but you start walking very slow and you're sort of like eyeing up the surrounding areas. So say you walk into a room and there's 6 dudes in there all having a fight and none of them see you.
Okay.
They're having a fight, okay? None of them really are paying attention to you or seeing you.
No, they're focusing on each other, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you walk in and you're like Cyborg Clint Eastwood.
Cyborg Clint Eastwood. And you're like, I want a whiskey.
Yeah. You do your do-wee-wee-oo. And all of a sudden, you have these little countdown timers on every target within his field of vision. So it's sort of like, it's kind of like when you're flying in a jet fighter and it does the lock-on thing.
And it's locking on
like,
stuff.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
So if this thing manages to lock on to something, or if you're really lucky and it manages to lock on to like 6 things... You press your shoot button and everything dies. It's amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like exactly like the spaghetti westerns, you know, when
it's just like
yeah, it's like the showdown situation where there's like 6 dudes and Clint Eastwood's all by himself and he's just sort of like weighing up his odds and stuff, and then all of a sudden bang 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 bang, bang kills everybody and it's done.
You gotta ask yourself, have I pressed Q? Have I killed enough people to get an ultimate ability? Well,
you gotta ask yourself, have you heard the do-you-you?
Has time gone a bit still for you? Well, has it, punk?
Yeah. But I mean, the drawback to this is that you're very vulnerable when you press your
I can
alternate.
imagine if for you it's slow, and for everyone else you're like, why is Clint Eastwood just stand? Oh shit, move!
Yeah, he's just standing there. Or if you're trying to move at the same time, he walks. So like, because he's got to take some time to think about it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
he's got to be a badass. You can't be all like cowering behind cover and then pop out and do it. You got to be a badass.
And equally, if guys are behind a wall or whatever, you can't lock onto them either. They have to be in your field of vision.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that you can get a shot off on them. So there's drawbacks to it. It's not a press Q to win sort of thing. You have to time it well, and you have to be lucky enough to maybe take out more than one guy. Although just taking out one guy with it is massively satisfying. It is a really cool ability. It's really
sounds
fun.
Amazing. Sounds really cool.
So his gun does a lot of damage. Just the primary fire of his gun from long range, if you can manage to hit somebody with it, does a shit ton of damage. It's amazing. And then for close quarters, his alternate fire is very, very good as well. Get in there with the unload. And usually, like, it's good against, like, really zippy heroes like Tracer and stuff. Get right up in her face.
All right, Governor, it's me, Tracer.
Unload 6 shots into her dome and she's
would
gone.
do that. I'd do that. Dick Van
pretty
Dyke's
much.
daughter, it's like killing one of the chimney sweeps from Mary Poppins.
Absolutely. Chimney, motherfucker. With you.
Wow, chimney this.
Yeah, pretty much. So Cyborg Clint Eastwood is really, really cool. He's gonna be really fun to play. So the other hero that they announced is some Russian weightlifter turned super tank in Overwatch.
Okay.
I think her name was Zarya.
Zarya,
which is short for like I don't know, like Cindy Zarka Nova or something like that.
Nova Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like this female. It's really weird too because it's not the sort of typical, like in games, females are always like very slender and very sort of, minimal armor, but they can always fulfill all these roles or whatever. I mean, Zarya is actually built like a brick shit house. She's huge.
Nice.
But looks really cool. She's got like a crew cut, like with bright pink hair, sort of thing.
Oh yeah. I'm already seeing it. Like a built tank girl from Russia. Okay. Yeah. What's her weapon? What does she use?
She's got this big plasma cannon. Okay, so the primary is like a beam. It doesn't just like shoot pulses. It's like a steady beam, and I think the damage increases over time, sort of thing. But she's got this cool, like, alternate ability where she puts, like, a shield up. So the shield absorbs damage, but then adds it to her damage output. So you can sort of, like, charge your gun up to be more powerful based on how much damage you soak up. Yeah,
okay.
With the shield.
Is the shield static? Does it follow you around?
No, it's just like a paladin bubble. It just goes around you, and
will keep following you around. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It absorbs enough damage, but it doesn't absorb infinite amounts of damage or anything like that. So,
but that's good though. So that character wants to be out in the middle, getting shot, getting stronger. Okay, cool.
So, and then her ultimate ability is basically this. She uses her plasma cannon to create like this sort of void that sucks people into it. It's kind of like Enigma from Dota.
Right, okay, yeah.
So you launch this projectile in the middle of a room and it opens up. Oh my God, I just burped again. The excitement. I'm sorry. I can't stop. I've been drinking coffee all morning.
Burping with sips.
burping all day long. So you launch this projectile into the middle of a room. It opens up this weird portal with lightning and it's all void looking. It's all like black and purple and stuff.
And everyone gets pulled into the middle.
And everybody gets pulled into it. And as they're getting pulled into it, they get pulled into it fairly quick. And it damages them while they're getting pulled into it. So like the devs were saying that there's opportunities to really sort of shine with this ability by, launching it over the edge of a cliff and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there's
does it
opportunities
combo well
to really...
with any of the other heroes? Like I wasn't sure because like Symmetra does... Like, she shields people. So does her shield mess up this one's shield? Like, do you not want to be shielded by Symmetra? Like, do you want to just get your shield get owned?
I'm not sure, actually.
Be interesting to see, like, how that synergy works out.
Cyborg Clint Eastwood, coming back to him, actually does have another ability where he can throw, like, a flashbang. You can throw this, and it's like just a mini stun. It doesn't stun them for any length of time whatsoever, but anything that's like channeled or that needs like some time to cast or whatever would be interrupted by that.
Okay, nice.
So I think there's situations where you might be able to, depending on a hero's ultimate ability or whatever, protect people that are going into like this plasma void or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. But it's very. The abilities are very MOBA-esque, aren't they?
And I think that's what makes it feel different. It doesn't feel like TF2.
No.
It doesn't feel like a team-based shooter. It feels like a first-person MOBA. And what's lovely as well is there are objectives, and you have to cap control points and stuff like that in different maps. But it does feel like if you play your champion heroes well together, that you can do really cool things. And I mean, like, I just from playing it before, the beautiful synergy between like Widowmaker and Reinhardt. You know, just Reinhardt having this big shield up and everyone just firing at it, not getting through, and then Widowmaker just standing behind, just lining up a shot and just bam. There you go.
Yeah,
that's one less.
It's great. Like it's going to be when it's out and people start taking it seriously and trying to play it competitively, which is it's bound to happen. I mean,
of course.
Blizzard didn't say much about sort of ranked play, casual play, competitive play, and stuff like that, but knowing Blizzard and Blizzard's
it's a feature
commitment
in every
to
single one of their games.
Well, that's it. They're so committed to esports and they're so committed to sort of hardcore competitive play that it would be just a shock if there wasn't elements of that in it. So you'll have situations where there's going to be really powerful team compositions. You know, you're going to have people that are going to play the game at a competitive level who are very good at, say, Widowmaker or Reinhardt or whatever. They're just going to have this situational awareness that is above and beyond anyone else's, where they're going to be able to turn games, you know, because they have these abilities that, you know, can protect their team, or they have abilities that can keep people away from their team.
Or maybe they're
and
like Hanzo. He's so hot right now.
Yeah,
He's
well,
so hot
I
right
mean,
now.
it's interesting with Hanzo and particularly Tracer. So there was the question about game modes, and the devs sort of turned around and said, well, listen,
we really like that idea.
Yeah, well, they said that too. Yeah. So currently there's payload and there's point capture. So, and those are the only two game modes that exist in the game right now. And people were saying, well, what about capture the flag? You know, it's like probably the oldest game mode, you know, possible with these types of games, first person shooters. You know, everybody loves a bit of capture the flag or whatever. And they said, we want to put capture the flag in, but it would be so unbalanced, because what they're doing is they're concentrating on designing the heroes and making the heroes feel very epic and all have these like signature abilities, and you know, concentrating on giving them synergies with other heroes, and you know, lore wise they want to develop all these like relationships between the heroes, how they met, and possibly they'll yell at each other in game and stuff like that eventually or whatever. But they're not rolling out any more game modes for now, because basically guys like Hanzo and Tracer, with the way that they move around, like Hanzo can just scale any wall basically. Same with Widowmaker, she's got the grapple so she can get up to like high ledges and stuff like that. And the thing is, with situations like that, it trivializes capture the flag. You know, you're going to have people joining a capture the flag game with the most overpowered hero possible for that game mode.
Well, exactly. I mean, you see
and
it
just
in WoW.
rinsing
like,
everybody. Yeah,
it used to
Warsong
be with
Gulch.
Warsong Gulch.
Yeah.
Like a druid would shift into travel form, or a shaman in Ghost Wolf and stuff like that, and everyone else is running behind. Or you've got like a warrior prot who's just like soaking up damage and running along. But ultimately, like druids were probably the best flag carriers because of their versatility. And
That's
it's whereas, I mean, in TF2 you still have like scouts, you know, and when you're doing an intelligence map and you're stealing the intelligence from either side, scouts are great. They jump in, grab it. They're fast to move, but they're really fragile. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it could work, but I understand because of the mobility things that we see in Overwatch, where you can kind of get places that are very hard for others to get to. I could see that being tricky.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're so they're sort of hesitating with that. But the interesting thing with the fact that they're almost sort of designing it backwards, like if you take like a traditional first-person shooter with game modes like TF2, they're taking a different approach on how they're designing it. So by designing the heroes first and the abilities and the synergies of those heroes and the team compositions and everything, it's almost like they're going to be able to innovate new game modes that people haven't thought about. Because, I mean, with a game like this, you know, it's a game that people think that they've seen before, right? They compare it to TF2 and they compare it to whatever else is out there where there's the same sort of game modes, there's the same sort of ideas or whatever. And everybody sort of says, well, this game does this, why don't you put this into it and whatever. And that's probably why their stock answer to everything is, oh, that's a really cool idea, and we'll think about it or whatever. But
well,
we
I mean,
have nothing
to be honest with you,
it, but
again, when I saw this announced, you know, Bethesda's got Battlecry, Square Enix have got what's the vampire one called? Nosgoth. And then there's Evolve's just come out, which is you know, kind of similar sort. I thought, like, is it going to be like another team shootery thing, and you had these other ones kind of concentrating on melee combat, so it's less so a snipe off or a range thing. It becomes more, visceral. But Overwatch, again, just feels that bit different from the rest of what you kind of put it in the genre. It probably should, again, live with the MOBAs, but then it's so different. It's kind of finding its own space.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's what's really interesting about it. And I think they'll be able to, like I said, develop these new game modes that nobody's seen before, hopefully. They might not, but they seem to have a chance more so than other genres of the same genre out there. Because of this sort of desire to build the heroes first, make them amazing first, and then sort of, let the game modes develop off the back of that. So it seems backwards, but at the same time, it might be really interesting going forward because it's the kind of game when it's released, they're just going to keep adding heroes to it, hopefully. Yeah. And they're going to keep, a lot of people are like, is there going to be hats in it like TF2? And the answer most likely is
love that idea.
Yeah.
It's not something we can talk about at the moment, but obviously we think that would be really cool.
There are certain systems that are out there for keeping these kind of games alive and profitable and seeing them.
So they didn't talk if it was going to be free to play or purchase only, all the business model stuff. I think it's because they probably don't know. I mean, it's such a would you give the game away for free and then charge for heroes? Would you pay for the game and unlock everything? Would you pay and then pay to get heroes? How there's so many different ways they could tackle it. TF2, was originally released as part of the Orange Box. It wasn't like any of us bought TF2, and then. You got Portal, you got all these other games along with it, and then they transitioned to free to play, and they had all these items, and now there's it's playing a game with a carnival. It's just everyone's dressed up like clowns, and it's brilliant. But I personally love what they've done with the characters, like what's his name? Torbjorn or whatever his name is.
Torbjorn, the little dwarf,
and he's got molten metal. That he melts down to reload his slag cannon, whatever it is that fires these slugs of molten metal, and has to pick up scrap and builds turrets, and is like an engineer, but is the most Blizzard of Blizzard characters. He's like this dwarven fusion.
It looks like
techie.
He's just been. Yeah, it looks like he's just been picked out of WoW.
He's WoW and StarCraft had a little baby, and it's the sort of thing
Torbjorn.
though. Yeah, but I've been playing a lot
Torbjorn.
I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm, and the alternate kind of costumes and skins that they make you pay for are just so cool that it doesn't even become a sort of a question of do I want them? It's just a question of how many should I buy at one time.
I think a lot of people would be surprised if that kind of stuff didn't make it into the game, because it seems to make sense that it would. It seems that the game lends itself very well to that sort of stuff. Unlocking maybe a new weapon or at least a weapon skin or something, potentially unlocking new skins or just upgrades to your looks, cosmetic stuff or whatever. That kind of stuff seems to be pretty popular. I mean, they're talking about I don't know if they're actually going to do it in Diablo 3, but there's talk about potentially putting some sort of shop into the game. I don't know if this is just people mentioning it, that it might be a good idea, or if this is actually being talked about. But I think adding cosmetic items to a game, I mean, bearing in mind, this is a game that you love, right? This is a game that you play every single day. You might not think twice about spending $5 on making your guy look like a clown if you want to, or whatever, because you love it so much, right?
Exactly. I mean, to be honest, if there was a skin that made Bastion actually look like Wally, or close enough, that would be really fun. I kind of like the idea of playing these games, and like I said, Heroes of the Storm does it so well when you get Uther, but as a StarCraft 2 medic, and you get a human version of a exactly, and all of those things are really, really cool. And Blizzard, definitely. You can kind of trust them to just create really cool stuff. It probably will be expensive to people like me who will freely spend a load of money on it. I mean, I've spent so much money on Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, and no one's holding a gun to my head, but that is just I just want it all. And you kind of get that collector kind of sensation, and all of these heroes are so amazing and so well designed. I mean, that, you want them all on a shelf.
Generally have that sort of fan base, though, don't they? I think if WoW's proven anything, is that people love sort of extras and cosmetics and stuff like that. the amount of money that they must have just made solely off pets and mounts in WoW is astronomical.
Probably more than most companies make on their games.
Yeah, and those things don't really affect the game in any meaningful way. They don't give you any advantage. They don't give you any sort of buff, or they don't make anything easier. It's just something fun to do. You know, if it's a game that you're playing all the time and, you know, you think, yeah, why not? This looks like fun. I'm prepared to spend $5 and hopefully I'll get my money's worth just by that sort of 5 minutes of, oh my God, look, I'm riding on a rainbow pony. I couldn't do this in any other game. But people do it. People love it.
Yeah,
I mean, I've done it. I've bought pets.
But I mean, this is the same company that in Overwatch, you know, Winston, he's, what is he, an ape that's from the moon or Mars or like some, it's like, it's crazy. It's amazing. And he wears glasses. Yeah. It's just like, okay, cool. Show me more. That's the whole thing with it. You're just like, this is amazing. Keep it coming. Now, what's interesting is I was looking at the Overwatch poster we got at BlizzCon, and Clint Eastwood, he's on there. But there's also Cyborg Ninja from Metal Gear Solid and giant fat guy from Mad Max.
Yeah, giant fat guy from Mad Max we haven't seen. And also, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my poster right now too. So Torbjorn is like dead center, isn't he?
Yeah.
Widowmaker's right behind him, and then you've got all the other dudes. You see
the whole
Bastion
gang
there with his little birdie and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hanzo. Yeah, so there's big fat gas mask guy we know nothing about, and Cyborg Ninja guy we know nothing about. When we were going through the office, they had like a big board with columns that sort of said, you know, these are the types of heroes or whatever. And there were pictures of all the heroes that we know about. But interestingly, there was tons of these things turned around so that you couldn't see them. And there were literally hundreds.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was just put there just to say like...
Just to screw with you.
Just to screw with us. Or
they're like, guys, we only have 12 things. Just put loads of blank Post-its up there.
That's the thing. Or
okay,
if behind them there were actual... like, you know, portraits of heroes and stuff like that. It's impossible to tell because they never give anything away. But we looked at that and we were like, holy shit. Like, there was a lot of stuff there. So it could potentially have hundreds and hundreds of heroes on the back burner that are just waiting to be released and come out. And there could be even sort of balancing them now. They might even have like assets in place for them and stuff like that. Do you think
there's going to be a Canadian, maybe he's a bit of a wisecracker, maybe. He, you know, wears a lumberjack shirt and has quite pale grey skin? Could you be honoured? I mean, if they've got that many, you figure that they could probably, you know, just chuck one out.
Just be like,
they'd
have to put some extra work in. Yeah, they'd have to make him really handsome.
That's going to be hard, obviously, with the poly count that's available.
I know.
Because they've got really detailed maps and all these other characters. You know, you've got 11 other characters to render on screen as well as this handsome individual.
And I think most of the poly count would be wasted on the neckbeard alone because it's
I believe so
complex.
Exactly. And if they choose to just kind of give a subtle indication of the girth of your wang, you know, wow, you know, we're going to have to wait till the next gen. You know, that's the thing. That's the trouble. Technology can hold us back sometimes.
Finally realize the full magnitude of my donger. I look forward to it. It's interesting that you mentioned Winston being an ape from the moon and stuff because it's actually reminded me that they also showed us a new map over there. That's right, yeah. So the map is... I think the story behind it is that Winston is trying to send some sort of satellite into space. It takes place on Gibraltar, so it's like this like fortified little island map. And you start off in, well, depending what team you're on, you start off in Winston's little lab. And he's got all these computers and like he's got like a chalkboard and all this stuff. And of course, he's got like a tire hanging by a rope so that he can like play on it in his downtime and stuff.
There's
like, all these like little
I'm just contemplating a really unified field theory, but I equally quite fancy having a good old swing on my tire.
Absolutely. So there's lots of like little things like that just sort of make you chuckle. And so the idea, it's a payload map. So the idea is that you get this, you have to escort this satellite payload style to a spaceship and then send the spaceship into space so that you can deploy the satellite. So they were saying like, you know, this is so cool. And, you know, you get that moment when you deliver the payload and you win and everything is like, and then somebody from the audience said, well, listen, I mean, does the spaceship launch? Like, that'd be cool. Like, talk about a victory. You get to watch this fucking spaceship launch into space. And they're like, it doesn't right now, but it should. So I guess they're working on making the spaceship launch.
I would have asked the question, why don't we just blow up the spaceship? And you're just like, shut up, Dave, you idiot. But yeah.
Yeah. So it's a cool map. They did like the Blizz devs did a show match on it, which we all watched, and it was pretty interesting because some of them are really, really good, obviously from hours and hours of playtesting and stuff. But yeah, it was cool. They had this like they had sort of like a spectator camera that could get like an overview of the whole thing. So you could see like, all the snipers found like all these great spots, and they had really great synergy with all their heroes. Somebody was playing Winston and just rampaging around, killing everyone and stuff. And it was really interesting to see, actually. It was an interesting perspective. Whereas, with most first-person shooters, you just watch it from the perspective of somebody playing. But actually having camera controls to look around and sort of get like an eagle eye view of the action and stuff was pretty cool. Actually, it was neat to see.
Cool. So past that, were there any other kind of class changes to the guys we saw at Blizzard?
No, I think
so. Mercy's still all the same.
Yeah, I think more or less everything else is still the same. The two heroes are the big reveal for PAX for them, and I think the new map as well. They're saying that beta is going to be starting in the fall this year. Oh, wow. Apparently. Cool. Yeah, cool. That's what they said. I don't know if they're going to do like an alpha, tech alpha leading into some sort of closed beta or anything like that. I mean, Heroes did it. I don't know if maybe that's going to be the new thing. Yeah, that's true. So it could be, or you might just have to wait for closed beta, hopefully get into it in fall, and then play the hell out of it or whatever. But it's all exciting. It's all promising.
Did you pitch my idea to Chris Metzen about the Underwatch, where we create a series of videos about the heroes that didn't quite meet the grade for Overwatch? I think it'd be fun.
I was just about to, but I was too busy trying to get secret like touching and handshakes in. I was concentrating on that way more than I was thinking about.
That's fine.
Underwatch.
Exactly. But, you have to. Have to prioritize.
Yeah, Underwatch also could be the name of a group of people that is just obsessed with underpants and watching
upskirts. We could call it
upskirts.
Yeah, that'd be
which
good.
Is obviously pretty depends actually. Depends on what side of the fence you're on. Is it disgusting? You tell me.
I don't know. There you go. Leave a comment in the comments below.
It's a cool idea, but I don't really have much to say about Underwatch. I think
that's really great. We've certainly talked a lot about that on the team. We're not actually at liberty to talk about it now. But yeah, we think that upskirts are great.
I live by them. Yeah, so all in all, the event was fantastic. It was really amazing. We had a really good time going to it. Everybody that we met there was fantastic as well. We got to talk to Kaplan and Metzen and a lot of the dev team, and they were all so nice, just such genuine, nice people.
And yet none of them said, say hi to Turps for me.
No, basically nobody said that.
No one. Wow.
But I'm sure that I'm sure that they were thinking it. But
maybe they thought that they just talked to me later. Maybe that was it.
There was like a sort of universal focus on sneaky touching and stuff. So maybe everybody was thinking about the same stuff.
That's fine.
It could have been just sidetracked because of all that kind of stuff. But lots of the devs that we talked to are just it's surprising because you think these guys work for Blizzard, they must just play tons of Blizzard games, and they do. But surprisingly, like a lot of them are like, yeah, we just started playing Evolve. It's really fun. Some of us are playing whatever. That's really fun. And they're all gamers. Like it's amazing. Like I always just had this sort of idea that your average Blizzard dev would just live and breathe everything Blizzard, go home and play WoW and stuff like that. But they just they do what everyone else does. They play games when they come out if they seem fun, or fun games to like pick up with your friends. Evolve's very fun to play. We have fun playing it, don't we, Turps?
Oh yeah, love it.
It's awesome. So yeah, it just goes to show. I don't know why I was surprised about that, but it's just one of those things.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's why we have WoW. Is they all played EverQuest, and they were like, guys, everyone seems to love this. Should we make one? Let's do it.
Yeah, I never played EverQuest. Did you?
Not at launch. No. I went back and played it. It wasn't really that good. I played EverQuest 2, and no, that was terrible. Obviously, because WoW had just come out, and it's just like.
I was too scared to play EverQuest because I'd read reviews and everything where people were like getting married in game, and like there was all these horror stories about people like neglecting like their significant others and like divorces and stuff because of the amount of time they were playing. And then you played WoW. Having said that, I played WoW and quite happily sort of got through that period of my life and stuff without a divorce or some sort of lawsuit on my hands.
Exactly.
So,
I've been at real world weddings from people who've met in WoW. Yeah. I've been at in-game weddings. For people who got married outside of WoW but wanted to get married again in WoW with all their friends and guildies. I've run the
we most likely would not be sitting here talking today if it wasn't for WoW. So
no, 100 times over. It's defined who we are and what we are. Yeah. And who knows? Could Overwatch be that? I don't know. That's a bold claim. That's a bold claim.
Yeah, I mean. Possibly,
I don't know, but I think it would be certainly something that we'll certainly play the hell out of. And I just want to get in there with you in Hat Films and secretly try and touch you all.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, the thing is, when we left the event, I think everybody sort of agreed that we would have loved to stay longer just to play the game. Because the game itself, even without a business model, they don't have any sort of menus in the game or whatever. The game itself feels done. It just feels, it's so polished. But
I say that every time I go to BlizzCon and every time I play a game from Blizzard. I mean, even when I was playing Blizzard Dota, like, it was a StarCraft 2 mod, and I was just like, this is great, this is amazing. When's it coming out? Yeah. And they're like, maybe we're going to tinker some more. But the thing is, they always produce fantastic quality builds, but they are iterators. They love to take something that's great and work on it till it's better, and then work on that till it's amazing, and then work on that again. And the thing is they have so much money, they really don't need to rush products out, and they know the biggest value they have is that people know that they're always going to get a great game out of them, and a great experience. And I think that, all I hope is that they can keep to the dates they've said in terms of, beta this fall and hopefully a release. I mean, you could squeeze a release out before Christmas. You could have one,
well,
holiday
you
season 2015.
I mean, if they're saying beta in fall, instantly you think, oh, well, they're trying to get it out before Christmas. It could happen.
But Blizzard really doesn't do that often. They don't try to make a holiday season because they know that their games are going to sell regardless. I'm sure it's nice, but I don't know how many mums and grandparents and such who are the ones who really spend a lot of money during Christmas buying games for their kids. People who are buying games buy games just because they want to buy them there and then.
Yeah, and of course it depends on the business model too. I mean, if it is going to be free to play with the option to buy things in the game or whatever, then it doesn't really matter if it's out before or after Christmas because, people will just pick it up and play it anyway, particularly if it's free to play. Having said that, I mean, if they stick to their guns and go for the boxed copy approach with expansions and all that kind of stuff, which is basically what they've done with every game that they've made since Warcraft 2, I guess.
Yeah, except for Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm.
And Heroes of the Storm, yeah.
But they're traditional 3 franchises, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they could do that. I doubt they're going to do it, though. I just don't think that it's the type of game to do that with. But who knows?
It would seem anachronistic, I think, to kind of go to that older business model and try and put it in a game that is as fun and modern and should be something that you want to get everyone into.
Yeah.
If I was doing it, I'd make it free to play. And, follow the hero's business model. Maybe, though, make all the characters free to play and then alternate skins are what you pay for. Because, the art team, obviously, I'm sure they're busy, but, you can turn around that. And you've seen how, much money. I mean, Hearthstone's made more money than God, I'm sure. And they basically, sell packs. So maybe you could do that. Sell cards.
Maybe. Turps, if I was doing it, everybody would be naked in the game, including the fat guy with the gas mask.
Oh, exactly.
I'm just saying.
And then when you press Q, time slows down and you can secretly touch people.
Yeah, you can secretly watch like all of the fat guy in the gas masks rolls ripple.
Oh, yeah, that'd be amazing.
In slow-mo.
I wonder if that happens if you Clint Eastwood him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'd have to see. Cool.
Time will tell.
All right.
We think that's a really good idea. It's something we've definitely talked about a lot ourselves. We can't really go into that now, but yeah, I think we'd all love to see some fat guy ripple.
As a company, and time again, we've proven that we are committed to slow motion fat ripples. So, keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled. Again, we can't say anything, but read between the lines. We like fat guy ripples.
Yeah, as a company, not personally, just as a company. It's a motto thing. Great. Okay. Well, wow, what a long ramble. But
yeah,
worth
sorry
it, right?
everyone. I think so. I've enjoyed it.
I'm excited.
I feel sorry for you because you've now got to play an hour of game, haven't you? What are you going to do? What's going to be the background to this? Is it just going to be like a 5-minute B-roll on loop?
Yeah, I think so. It'll just be the cinematic over and over and over again.
And over again.
51 minutes and counting.
You're right. All right, love. Cavalry's here.
Oh my God, no.
Pretty
Please
much.
stop.
Yeah.
Cavalry's here.
I got to find a picture of that Brian guy as well from...
from Confused.com.
Confused.com.
He doesn't actually look anything like Brian. He looks more like, I guess, like Chappie.
Chappie.
Yeah, from new
Chippy.
film. Chippy.
Cool.
Thank
All
you.
Right. Thank you for joining me once again for a ramble.
Thank you.
This has been a very extra special Overwatch ramble, all about Overwatch Blizzard. Similar to the last one that I did, which was all about Blizzard as well, with a bit of Squaresoft. But
that's weird. But yeah.
It's weird. Next ramble will not be about Blizzard. I can guarantee it. It'll be instead about... maybe EA and Maxis. Holy shit! Did you hear about that?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Fuck, crazy.
Typical. I think EA are becoming a caricature of themselves.
Almost.
They're just like, hey, should we buy another company and then run it into the ground? I think I saw EA on the door back there. I think that's what we do.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
Still, if they offered to buy Yogscast, definitely. We'd be really excited to work with such an established and experienced partner. And sorry, I'm on a yacht. Bye-bye.
Yeah, pretty much. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so, well, as usual, thanks very much for listening. Thanks for joining me, Turps.
Thank you very much.
Always fun. And we'll
have you got any questions for me before we go? Got no questions?
I wanted to ask you how that rash was shaping up.
So, I've shown it to a few people.
The really weepy one?
It's not something I can go into at the moment. We ourselves have looked into a lot of rashes. A lot of other people have rashes, and we're just trying to find out, what makes our rash different and special. But yeah, I think rashes, weeping are really cool.
I think the weeping, the excess weeping pus is what makes your rash particularly special and stand out above all the others.
The company, we have a long history of rashes and discharge.
Oh, yes.
So,
wonderful.
Again, read between the lines.
Yeah, and EA, obviously, if you're listening and you want to buy our company that's sort of based around weeping rashes and eventually close us down.
Saying,
no problem.
100 million?
Yeah, 100 mil, easy. So. We got this.
Easy. Boom.
We got this. Great. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.